Angela, something that you've always made quite plain throughout your political careers, you will not sit on a platform with the BNP. Mm. They seem to be a great focus of the campaign for June the 4th. Does that concern you?
Of course it does. One of my great worries about the BNP is they're quite nervous about presenting what they really stand for to the public. And we've seen at local meetings, they don't open their doors and say, come on in everybody, as most political parties. We're desperate to get people into meetings we have. It's the opposite of the BNP. You wonder, what have they got to hide? So I think we're seeing them trying to put forward a new image. You can't disguise the fact that quite openly, in many cases, they've had racist comments, anti-Jewish comments, and I don't like people being attacked for what they are. You can attack people for what they believe in or something they've done, but to attack the very being of somebody, I think is very difficult. So I talk to constituents who work in the health service, that work in schools, who may be British but they're not white. They may be from another country and working here, and they feel very vulnerable and very nervous. And I don't want any of my constituents to feel vulnerable or nervous because of those kinds of views and attacks that are made on them.
Were you surprised, therefore, that they launched a European campaign and for the East of England walked straight through the front door of the Thameside Theatre?
I think for some of them there is no shame in what they believe in, and that I find quite shocking. You know, I remember going to Auschwitz, and I've been to the Holocaust Memorial, and these are places where British men and women fought in the Second World War to protect people from what was happening in Nazi Germany, and I see a parallel on that. And I think the shame I think many people felt of seeing them just walk into the hall in that way. Now, I would never for a moment suggest that everybody who votes for the BNP is racist or shares those views. What I do think, though, there are key people in the British National Party who want to keep their real objectives secret from the public because they want to con people into voting.
Whether they're the BNP or indeed people taking advertising money from the BNP is saying that they're a democratic party, and there have been people have been voted in. Indeed, over the last two council elections in Thurrock, around 25% of people who voted BNP.
Yes. And I really don't believe that those 25% of people share all the aims of the BNP. I really don't. And I think it's very significant that many of the people I spoke to who have voted BNP, who have been Labour or Conservative voters in the past, are quite shocked and don't want to share it. But what they do want to do is give the other parties a kick up the butt. They want to say, listen to us. So in some ways it's often a negative vote against the other main political parties, rather than a vote saying, we share everything you stand for. I think sometimes the BNP portrays themselves as the only party interested in fairness and tries to outline things they think are unfair, that discriminates against, as they would put it, only white people. Now, we know that's not the case, but you can play on that mood. So I think if they were honest, they wouldn't get anywhere near as many votes as that.
So if there are, from the political arena, if there are misguided or naive people involved in politics who believe that you can deal with the BNP, you can create electoral pacts with the BNP, or indeed stand down in wards in order to fight Labour, what would your message be to those politicians?
I would be disgusted by such views. For two reasons. One, it's pandering to the BNP, and if they're trying to do a deal with the BNP or a pact with the BNP, then in fact they're supporting them. So I regard it in the same light. But also, I don't like electoral pacts and agreements. I think you should encourage people to vote what they believe in, put forward what you would generally try to do, what you believe in at election time. Now, afterwards, if you've got a hung council or something, then parties won't want to talk together to get administration organised. I was at County Hall, and this is County Council, and it was the whole of Essex was involved, and there was no one party in control. So we made arrangements so we could have a formal mechanism for running the council without any deals or pacts. But to go into an election trying to do a deal or a pact with a party like the BNP can only be to say, we'll support you here if you support us there. That I find totally unacceptable and reprehensible.
So leading on from that, the impression in Thurrock Council with the way the seats are distributed, and with the role of Emma Colgate, does it look like, because of that the Tories are in office but not necessarily in power?
Well, it is the case. She could have an inordinate amount of power if the Conservative Party let her. I was quite surprised that she voted to keep the Tories in power in Thurrock, and they accepted that, because in other parts of the country that's not how it works. This is the only place in the country where the Tories have an arrangement with the BNP to stay in power on the council. If I was a Tory in Thurrock, I would be humiliated and embarrassed by that.